In the first two LEGO City Amusement Park updates, we got quite a bit done in regards to the layout, and everything is looking amazing. I'm really happy with the current layout, and I've decided that this is the layout that I'm going to run with. So I'm no longer going to be moving things around. Rather, we're going to be adding details. So that is very exciting. So we're going to start adding details today in this update. Pretty awesome. But before I do that, I actually have to make one change to my new and improved mixer platform, because just fire it up here. The wheels are not touching the tiles. Therefore, the actual cars, like the yellow, blue, and red cars, aren't rotating. So that's the first thing that needs to be taken care of. If you thought you were going to survive the mixer at first, well, now it's spinning even more. A pretty easy fix. Just had to raise the interior up by one plate, and then actually just not tile off the studs in there, because now it sits inside there and the wheels actually make contact with those 2x2 tiles. So now the cars spin while the mixer spins. Oh my gosh. I'd go on it, would you? Now that that's all taken care of, I can bring on the green plate. I've got to increase the amount of green space and actually start shaping it as well using some smaller plates. I started doing this the other day, and then I got sidetracked because I wanted to free up 16 studs here in the amusement park by shifting the Ferris wheel back. And those 16 studs are currently sitting right here by the Disney Castle. What I could do is split this in half and give 8 studs to the Disney Castle and 8 studs to this area right here. If I were to do that, then I would be able to put the carousel where the fountain is. I can't currently do that because of the 4 studs that come off of this plate, which is the roller coaster plate. So this currently cannot fit over there. You know what? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm doing what I said I didn't want to do. So here's option number 1. You can see I've given 4 studs to this because of that awkward overhang, and I've slid the carousel back between the 2 coasters. And then that leaves 12 studs over here. So it used to be 16, but now it would be 12. So the Disney Castle still has quite a bit of room there. And here's option number 2. And actually, I can't just give it 4 studs here because then the coasters collide. So I need to give it 6 studs here, and that will leave 10 studs over here, which we can give to the Disney Castle. This just seems sort of weird to have the 2 coasters side by side. A lot of people want me to get rid of the loop coaster. I'm not getting rid of stuff. No, there's more than enough space in here for whatever we want to do with minifigures and food vendors. It's all good. There's more than enough space to display everything. It's just a matter of how do we do it, right? This is exactly what I didn't want to do in this video. And here I am doing it 30 minutes into my day. It's ridiculous. Whenever this guy's down here, he's always checking out what I'm doing. He's got his favorite piece. What is that, bud? Is that an 8x8 circular white plate? Wow. Pretty interested, aren't you? Yeah. I think this is the layout that we're going to do. That's finalized. You know what? I'm happy I was able to get that carousel between the 2 coasters because it breaks up the coasters. And also it's no longer like right in the middle of the park. So now I'm able to start creating these winding pathways that I want to create. And I actually kept it 8 studs wide, so it sort of just matches on either side. So then it winds through the park. Then also I tapered it off so it's only 1 stud increments moving inward or outward. So I guess before I get too carried away with creating my pathways and green spaces, I should probably figure out what I'm going to do with all of this stuff, because there is a lot of it. We've got some games from like Toy Story sets and 4+ Disney sets. There's also the coffee chain, cotton candy carts, pretzel carts, that really neat looking spaceship over there, some other food stands like ice cream shops, the dunk tank, which is a game from the mixer. We've got some more food carts, a hot dog cart, the balloon cart. I guess this thing can just drive around anywhere, but check out this bag. Oh my gosh, I should probably go through this bag and identify what I have and where it's going to go before I give it all to green space, right? Because we've got all sorts of neat games and photo ops in here, and also go-karts. It's unfortunate that this park here isn't going to be able to accommodate a go-kart track. Originally, when this was moved forward, I thought maybe the go-kart track can go behind it, but I just couldn't figure out a way to get it to go in a circuit. I don't know where that go-kart track would go, but I just don't think there's space to put one in this layout, unfortunately, unless I get rid of a train track. But I'm full on committed to trains. I've put so much time into ballasting all the track, making the raised line, making both ground lines, building the train stations, building this train station, integrating this train station, putting the train tunnels in. There's no way I'm getting rid of them. And you know what? There's still a lot of space in here for all of this stuff. And I want it to be super crowded and super full of trees. That's what I'm going for. I want it to be like, whoa, everywhere you go. And I want it to look really neat. And obviously the pathways are going to be extremely busy because all of the sig figs that I got in fan mail are going to go on those trails or pathways. And then all of these minifigures as well. That's right. I have a whole nother bag full of sig figs. This is just all the existing amusement park figures from the previous amusement park. Pretty wild, hey? Step number 1 is to organize everything, making it much easier to manage. So yeah, lots of different games here, a ton of picnic benches and also benches. That's great. Now I don't have to try and make all those because they're already pre-made for us. Also, we got to add street lights or lamps to our amusement park. So there we go. I'm going to use a bunch of those, plus I have a bunch more. My Lego City uses all black, but the amusement park uses white. Also, they use like these trans yellow heads rather than trans clear. And then I isolated all of my minifigures, which will be like photo ops or staff of the park. Now you know where all my Disney figures went. There's some up there, but there's even more in here. So that's great to have all these figures ready to go for the park. And then all of the general population, which will always come last, is in this bag right here. I always place these last just because they sort of get in the way as you're making big changes, moving plates around and changing layouts and trying to add all this stuff. So yeah, now I can like lay all this stuff out in the park, sort of get a ballpark idea of where I want to put it. And then also put all the photo ops and characters in as well. And then I can work on the green space. I think it makes sense to do this first. Oh yeah, you also have this stage as well, which will look great somewhere in the park. So we'll add that to the pile as well. So there's actually a few things that I'm leaving out. And that is the UFO ride. I don't know where I would put that. And also my custom platform 9 3/4 up here. It's another train station. And the Disney train station. I just don't know where these would go. And I don't know if I need more train stations. With this Studgate train station right here, and also this train station, do I really need 2 more train stations? I might be able to stick this Disney train station on the back side of the Disney castle. Like have it hidden back there. That might work. And I think that's pretty much the only spot that it'll work in this layout. Now it can't face, like we can't have the back facing us. So for example, I can't put it right there because then the back would be facing us and it just wouldn't look that good. The only way I could make that work is if I ordered a bunch of red masonry bricks and a bunch of other pieces to sort of finish off the back end and make it a complete building. While working on this end of the park behind the Ferris wheel, I ended up standing on the stepladder for some reason. And I was like, wow, this looks pretty good. Loving the view. Whoo! Probably looks even better when I do that. Nice. I'm just slowly but surely adding everything, right? So we've got the stage over here, some picnic tables, the coffee chain, photo op with Mickey and Minnie in their spacesuits, little mini ride over here, a couple benches, popcorn cart. Then I added the grass along here as well. And eventually I'm going to put those curved hedges along here. Also, I added a ride queue right here for the mixer, just using some of the gold fence elements. And also some 1x1 studs in gold and dark blue. I also did that for the little mini rocket ride over here. And for the carousel, put the dunk tank right there. This guy's just riding around trying to sell some balloons to no guess at all yet. A little hot dog stand right there. And another food vendor right there. Selling some pastries and some coffee. A couple more benches. The strongman game right here. A little Lego vending cart. Selling some Lego, and that's just across the way from Hot Shots. And then little ice cream guy over here. So, I mean, this area is already starting to fill up. Once I get it all tiled off and add a whole bunch of minifigures everywhere, I mean, that's pretty much all it needs. And then, of course, trees and texture. Wherever there's green plate, that's going to get trees and texture in a big way. So wherever there's green, we need to upgrade all that. And, I mean, there's just a huge spot over here that's allocated to this castle. So I can't really do anything over here until I figure out what I'm going to do with this castle. When it's in this position, there's more than enough room to finish the back of it, probably raise it up, and then put water around the base of it. So I just need to essentially work on that Disney castle. That's probably the next thing I should do. And maybe I should start the tiling process as well. That's a huge job. It's going to require a lot of tiles, so I need to determine what kind of tiling I'd like to do. So the tiling will most likely be like the zoo in the sense that it's all different colors. So there's like dark tan and dark gray, then there's dark gray and dark blue and shield tiles, then there's some of the dark orange over there, then there's a bunch of the tan ingots. I just think that makes it look so much better. And if I give the amusement park the same treatment, it'll make it look amazing. Oh, by the way, this set right here, it's absolutely a phenomenal part out set if you're looking for various green plates. It came in super handy. I made some hedges, one right there, and another over here. I haven't capped them off yet because I might make them taller. Right now, they're only 6 of those limb elements tall. Then I made a super long one for right here, and I've got to keep building it. It's got to be even longer than that. But once again, not sure what's going to happen over here by the Disney Castle. I started using some of these 4 wide rock panels to conceal the park. I put them on the left side of the haunted house right there. And then I also put some more by the entrance right here. And you know what? Using those rock panels around the haunted house got me thinking, how are the guests going to get over the train track to go to the haunted house? Is it going to be like a railroad crossing over here and then stairs going up to the haunted house? Or is it going to be a staircase? What am I going to do? I don't know. But then I got thinking to myself, I'm using these rock panels on the edge of the haunted house, right? To board off the park. And the haunted house is already elevated. I've got a bunch of other rock panels. Maybe I should change the haunted house plate by using a bunch of rock panels. I just realized that I am covered in dog hair, just a typical day. But the plan would be something like this. So I'm using these corner panels and then the rectangular ones, and the haunted house is on a 32 by 32. So if it sits on a large plate like that, it could sort of make like a U shape. I'm completely out of slopes, so I don't know about texturing it. I guess I'd cross that bridge when we get there. But what I could do is use those and then put the haunted house like that. Then it would be up on a hill, and that might look pretty neat. Now something like that is going to take a lot of parts and a lot of time to construct, so I sort of need to figure out how I'm going to have minifigures get up there. This is a pretty tall train, and the Disney train, which will be flying around this track as well, is even taller. So I don't know if I want to have like a staircase going up and over, because that might look pretty weird in front of the Disney Castle, right? And I don't know what kind of platform the Disney Castle is going to be sitting on, so I don't know if that staircase can branch off of that. And I don't know if I want to make the Disney Castle platform that specialized so that it always has to be by the haunted house, because maybe it won't always be by the haunted house, right? So I don't really know what to do in that regard. I might be better off just making another railroad crossing, because honestly, a staircase that goes that tall might look pretty strange. Granted, it would only have to go up on this side, because it's pretty much going to go on top of the cliff, which will be hosting the haunted house. But still, when you look at that Disney train, it's pretty tall. And to get up over top of it, you would need almost 3 staircase elements, and that would just look straight up goofy, whether it be over there by the Disney castle and the haunted house or right after you enter the park. And that's why I think railroad crossings is probably the way to go. I never even knew it was that tall. There's no way I'm building a staircase that tall, like at the end of the park. That would just look ridiculous. So railroad crossings is the way to go. Or what I could do is build a false tunnel. What do I mean by that? I could build a tunnel entrance that, of course, doesn't actually go underground, give it some depth, and then I could build a tunnel exit, so there could be 2 of them, and then it looks like they're taking a tunnel which would go underneath the train track, but it wouldn't actually be going underneath the train track. So it's either a false tunnel or a railroad crossing. Definitely not that. That is ridiculous. So I've decided that, yes, I will be doing this. And I've actually left aligned it. So then this side will be right up against the road, and this side will be right up against the train track. So I know that it looks pretty strange right now, but I think once I get the haunted house on the back portion of this cliff edge, I think it'll look pretty neat. And then the cliff edge along here will be the separation from the Lego City to the park. And then I'll probably have the train crossing actually aligned at the back. And what I could do is when people cross over here, they can wind through this creepy trail that leads up to the haunted house, because we actually have 16 studs open right here. And this could be where the queue is to get into the haunted house and go on that drop ride. Then it's like the creepy haunted house that's up on the hill. And I think the whole detail of this area and this plate back here will sort of just pull this whole corner together, and that'll be a really cool attraction to the amusement park. I think the train crossing will probably go back here. And once again, that Disney Castle plate might interfere with that a little bit, but it just depends on how much space I want to give to this Disney Castle, because there is quite a bit of space back there. So it could potentially shift back like that there. And then I still have space for the rounded back and probably some water detail on the left and right side. And then I can still have this right here for a trail. We'll use these as my trail for like a trail that leads to the crossing and then this spooky queue leading up to the castle. This is a huge project, and I want to try and tackle that all in one day. So I'm going to leave that for another day. And honestly, this is where I end my amusement park update. So we got some details added. I started adding some of the hedges. Got all sorts of benches, got the ride queue ready to go there, and also made one adjustment to the layout as well. And I think at the end of the day here, I've come up with a pretty cool idea involving the haunted house. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to get that all done in the next amusement park update. So that's where we're going to take off in the next upload. So yeah, excuse the dog hair on my shirt. I'm pretty excited about what we accomplished today. Oh yeah, we also fixed the mixer, so that's good. That's beauty. Let's fire it up. There we go. Now it's working properly. You know what? I should add some authentic detail. Maybe some like some studs and vomit colors around the mixer. Gross. You know what? I'm also going to be accumulating a cart to build 30 of the palm trees, the big thick palm trees over there. So I'm going to be using Bricklink to source parts for 30 palm trees, which are going to be in these green spaces all throughout the Lego City and in the amusement park as well. So yeah, we've got 3 big projects I've got to take care of. The Disney Castle and the Disney Castle plate. I guess that's 2 projects on its own. And then the haunted house and the haunted house plate. And then tiling off the entire amusement park and adding all of the vegetation. And once we get those 3 or 4 projects done, this place is going to look pretty amazing. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for popping on by. Farewell.